Welcome back, everybody, to the Antigua Public Library's Entrepreneurship and Career Series. We're very sorry for the late start, but this is Antigua, and you know how the internet behaves. So today we have two guests instead of one, and only one host instead of two. So I hope you'll join me in welcoming Miss Coretta Tanis and Mr. A.G. Morgan. Good morning. Well, good afternoon, Miss Tanis. How are you today?
Good afternoon. I'm blessed.
Okay, I understand that today you're going to tell us about career prep, how to get that job that we're looking for, how we should behave. Please tell us about yourself and what you do.
Well, currently I am the customer due diligence manager, aka fraud manager, department manager at Dixie Operations. I manage 40 plus staff, almost 50, and my role entails basically aligning what the company needs with what staff what considers comfortable. So it's a balance between that. In terms of career prep, I'm not going to elaborate too much on my role and what I do, but my experience. In some cases, some of us are naturally talented and our career is obvious. We have certain skills. It's within us from since we're small. And in the rest of us, the career finds us or we change jobs a few times until we find what makes us comfortable. Because when I hear the word career, I always think of a job you're doing that you're comfortable and you're satisfied with. In terms of prepping, what I would encourage any young person or any person coming to me, a few things. Money management skill. Now, you don't have to have money, but you should be able to have the discipline where you can manage whatever you have, budget effectively, make sacrifices. So that new dress that is important, do you want it now or you want a
Mm,
house later down the road? So money
mm,
management is essential if you're doing any sort of career prep because you might end up being an entrepreneur where you're going to have capital. Or even if you're working like me, like a manager, there's certain things you're going to need to manage for other people's company that will need that skill set. So I would encourage that. I would also encourage the person to do some sort of knowledge check, anything you like, because in choosing a career, I think you have like three options. You pay attention to your talents, you pay
yeah.
attention to what you like, and then you pay attention to your options. And in options mean I can think doing hair is fabulous. And I might
Mm,
think when I do my hair, I'm great at it. However, doing other person's hair is not an option for me because I'm not good at it. So
mm,
your options are also included. Um, Another area I would encourage because I've heard several of the previous interviewees is the preparation for failure. No, it's not
mm,
acceptance of failure, but
mhm,
especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you should
mm,
prepare at some point that things may not go the way you intended, or the business might
mhm,
not be as profitable as fast as you want it to be. So you
mm,
need to have some sort of backup plan for if this happens, what am I going to do? Where's the next shift? Who is my support system? So it's basically preparation for failure and a sense of humor. Um, in choosing a career and in preparing for a career, you have to have a sense of humor. Because in failing certain points where you're going to learn, um, you really have to give yourself a pat in the back and try and just find the best way to laugh about it so you can move
mm,
on. So I would encourage that. And in choosing a career, as most career are based on people wanting money, I would say make sure you work on your people skills because you're going to have to deal with people to get this money. So a
mm,
few things I would encourage: money management and discipline. You seeking the knowledge you need for whatever area you're going for.
mm.
I will always encourage a sense of humor. It makes any task you're doing easier. And I would also encourage people skills. You have to at some point deal with persons directly, whether in a case of a store you're dealing with a customer. My case as a manager, my clients are the staff. How I treat them, my people skill is essential. I can't just speak to them how I choose to. You have to speak to
Mm.
them a particular way with respect, with the fact that you know that they have knowledge too and they can bring growth to you. So these are the list of things I would start off if I had to have a conversation about career preparation.
Wow. You know, a lot of those things I would have thought of, but I never really thought of a sense of humor as being, vital to it. So, so I guess I can see how that works because a lot of people go in and they're very much prepared to succeed, but they're not prepared in the least to fail. And that inability to accept that something is going to work out may cause you to spend more money in a business that is failing than to move on to the next thing that may actually succeed. So I can see how that works very importantly with entrepreneurship and choosing your career in general. Mr.
Sure.
Morgan, we have you standing there off to the side, and I'm so sorry. Could you please tell us about yourself and what it is that you do?
Sure. My name is Kevin Morgan. I am the owner of AG Morgan Men's Collection. We're located on the corner of Redcliffe and Temple Street. Our business is mainly focused on men's clothing. We also have a second store, which is AG Morgan Jr., that focus on boys' clothing. So everything from boys to men when it comes to clothing, shirts, suits. We do weddings, birthday outfits, whatever it is when it comes to men's clothing, you would need to get in touch with us at AG Morgan.
Very nice, very nice. So, how long have you been operating this particular enterprise?
Okay, so I've been in the clothing industry just over 10 years now. I've personally owned my establishment for the past 3 years. So we're still young and still building.
Okay. Do you agree with Miss Coretta's assessment of what is necessary to be prepared for your career? Because
Yes,
I
she
know
did.
in your field, I can understand that clothing makes the man, but in
Right.
addition to having the right outfit and being smartly dressed, do you agree that these are the things that people need to be up on, or do you think there's more to it?
No, definitely, she did touch on a few extremely important points. I mean, savings, planning for failure. I mean, most times you have persons go into the world of business trying to be self-employed, and they only look at the positive benefits that will come out of their situation. So they're going in not planning that, things may not go as they plan. And then when you hit that bump where things begun to go left instead of right, then you don't have a backup plan as to, what you do next to order to sustain and maintain your business.
Miss Tanis, well, I'd like to throw this question out to both of you. How important do you think it is the way that you dress in being happy in your career and succeeding in the world of work?
In my world, I always think you should dress to impress. I'm gonna honestly tell you, I'm known to overdo, but I have a motto: everyday stress. And it might not sound, it makes sense to other people, it makes sense to me. Every day is church. Every day is a day to act like God is in me, to dress like God is in me, and to portray myself like God is in me. So it's in the job. So every day I dress like I'm going to meet the God in my life. So I think how you dress, how people see you, that's the first impression they get. Like, wow, he's smartly dressed. Wow, he looks, these things stand out. Oh wow, why is she wearing that? So how you dress, actually, it's the first part of persons noticing or assuming who you are. So I love a power outfit and I love a well dressed person, especially in the any field.
Okay. Well, for me, I definitely agree, but I will add that, you normally hear the saying that manners will take you around the world. That for us at AG Morgan, we add to manners your outfit. The way you look definitely speak volumes about you. As mentioned before, if someone does not know you from anywhere, the first thing that they will see is how you present yourself to them. So if you present yourself well dressed, you know, it gives that person a good report of you. Even if you're not the smartest person, you're not the most wealthy, it doesn't matter who you are, but putting yourself together right definitely will make or break you. I mean, you could see somebody who is well dressed and they come to transact business at a particular establishment, and then you may see other persons who don't care about how they look, they just show up anyhow. And you would realize
Mm.
the normal human instinct is to approach the person who is appropriately dressed for the business that they're conducting. And person may sit and say, but why? It is because you look important. So somebody want to get to meet you, find out who you are, and if they need to help you, they would want to try to help you. So definitely I agree. I mean, when I wake up in the morning, I think our other presenter here and me are of the same mindset. I mean, I run a man's clothing store. I sell suits every day. I wake up, put on a nice suit, put myself together well, and I come to the city to do work and operate. Now, persons would see me and say, Mr. Morgan, you're not hot. Where you going in suit? I mean, you're overdressed. No, because the type of clients that you meet on a daily basis will vary. So, can you imagine in a clothing store selling suits and your salesperson is in a short pants and a t-shirt and you're coming to buy a suit and you want some good advice as to, I mean, how this suit look on me. Even if I tell you, hey man, that is the best suit for you, you would have second thoughts because what you're seeing me in your mind, you're wondering, has this person ever dressed up before? So it goes a long way, the way you dress.
And I wanted to add,
Okay.
it doesn't even have to be with overdressing or the power suit only. I can give an example. Like if, for instance, your career choice is in food handling, how you dress is
Right,
important because
Mm.
I am not buying food from anybody in dirty clothes. Especially if you have on
exactly.
white clothes and you're all discolored. Nobody wants to eat from you. So it's not only about the
Mm.
power suit that H.E. Morgan sells to the
Right,
males, but it's
right.
also about representing where you are. If you're selling food and dirty clothes and your environment don't seem conducive, you're not going to pull a person. So though they're not going to know your food tastes
Mm.
good. So I would say clothing is essential and how you carry yourself, very important.
That's right.
Okay. So, what would you say are the elements of a professional outfit, Mr. Morgan?
All right. So for men, I brought along with me today just to make reference because we're speaking to young persons. I'm sure some young persons are on Facebook listening and viewing us. And many of the times, the challenge that persons have is that they do not know how to build their wardrobe. So, for example, they go to my co-host establishment and they are going for an interview, but they're so excited, and their parents probably give them the money to come to town to purchase something to go to an interview. Now, while you want to stand out, you also have to think practical. So I brought along with me today three key items that every man should at least purchase when they're making their first purchase towards starting their outfit. So
Mm.
the white shirt. Now this works for every and any occasion. So every man should have a nice long sleeve button down dress shirt. With that, a black necktie and a pair of black slacks. Now these are key items and I'm going to tell you why. Now they work for every occasion. I mean, some of us were able to purchase multiple outfits, but
Mm.
if you need to start from your base, black
Mm.
pants, white shirt, I've never seen anyone go to an interview or any establishment and they say, look, because you're in a black pants, white shirt, and a black necktie, you're inappropriately dressed. You can use that for a funeral. You can use that for the interview, graduation. I mean, you may want to change your necktie for like a wedding and stuff like that, but that is your base. So once you have that in, then you can start to build on your other colors. You can then get a navy blue, you can get a gray pants, and then you can change your tie on that white shirt as you continue to build. If you're more from a corporate standpoint, you're a manager, a CEO, then I would recommend your first suit purchase to be a nice navy blue suit. Now, what that does gives you the of making you seem to have more than one. So, for example, in your morning setting, you will get to see the full array of that navy blue. When you have an afternoon, when it begins to get close to a chocolate. So colors are very important. Now, what you do with your dark base colors, you use your tie to make the contrast or to make it stand out. So if you have your navy blue suit, a white shirt, you can put a red tie on there. You can put a nice solid orange, something to make it stand out. Now, what is also important for men is that we don't have a lot of different clothing to pair with. It's going to be jeans, blazer, shirt, pants, or it's going to be a suit. So you have to work
Or a
those
vest.
different occasions, right? So you're going to a wedding, you have nice blazer, nice pants, and then you can use a tie or bow tie to kind of change it up. So you have to know how to work your colors. And I'll give my other person there a chance to respond as well.
What was the
Miss
question?
Caressa, the question is what is your idea of a professional outfit? What are the elements of a good professional outfit for a female?
Well, I won't use myself as an example because I'm a bit too excessive. But I think a simple dress, and comfortable shoes. You don't want anything. A low heel is fine, or sandals that's close because they have loafers now are very popular. But a simple dress. I usually, as women, if we're wearing belts, belts go with bags go with shoes, etc. We all that we match. For an interview, that works for me. Things I would not recommend though. I'd prefer not recommend. Less for an interview or even for a professional environment is slippers. Anything close to a vest or a cami. On if it's on the jacket with a skirt, it's beautiful, but by itself with the jeans, no. Ripped clothes, those are not for work. Anything that gives you the idea that you're going to the market or a fete, I don't think it's appropriate for work. I know see-through has become very popular over the years, and yes, they look good in the club, but it's not appropriate for a professional environment. So I prefer if you're going to wear something see-through, then this is where a proper cami would come into being. So the combination, but then as a woman, you want to present your mind first, because this is what in a professional environment people need to be exposed to, and then they can focus on anything else. You don't want to distract them from your professionalism. So I would say a simple dress to the knee, a little bit below the knee. I'm not a fan of pants, but if that's you, go there, and nice and neat. Be comfortable, but not too much exposure, no ripped clothes. And always go based on budget. Because remember, the initial thing we said for career planning is money management. So don't put yourself in something too expensive and then you can't get the rest of it.
Mm, agreed. So, in terms of accessories, should you then dial it up? Should you dial it back? I mean, honestly, I've seen some persons out there and the hair is real statement. The hair can be a real statement piece based on how they decide to wear it.
Once again, it depends to me on where you're working. In my environment, um, the staff is not exposed to the client in terms of they don't see them. They speak to them on the phone, emails, via chat, but they never get to see them. So in an environment
Mm,
like that, although you dress professionally and make sure you're not exposed, an extravagant hairstyle would not distract anybody except your colleagues in maybe 2 minutes. And it wouldn't be a
mm,
big thing. When you're facing persons like hostesses, um, if you're in a bank, I would say try to conform to something simple. Whereas if it was a bar, and we're going to have fun. Extravagant hairstyles all over. I don't care. Let's have fun. So it depends on the
mm,
environment. Different things fit different situations. So if you're in front of a client and you're doing professional business banking, talking to people about their money, or maybe you work at a cable business, talking to people about their accounts, I would say simple hairstyle. Working in a bar, you work, I'm not sure the rules to the hotels, but I would say a bar, where you're trying to get the crowd lively, or even if you're in a live band,
mm.
extravagant. It's fine because then you're trying to pull people to you, to get more business. So depends on the situation always.
Okay.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Morgan, for guys, because I know you guys don't generally have a lot of range where it comes to hair and accessories like we do. But in terms of hair and accessories, what do you think is, within the realm of appropriateness?
Me, once again, it depends on the environment because right now, like how Mr. Morgan is dressed, that works fine for office. Once it works
Mm,
fine, even for his business, it works fine because he's an example to his client. This is how you can look. When you go on the road, you can look like me. So for his business, it works. But
mm,
I am also a fan of the Rasta look. It just as I said, everything fits a different area. And if, for instance, because I'm sure you've seen it, guys are chefs.
mm, mm,
They still practice being Rastafarianism and they have all the beards. It's just that they put them up properly, they cover them properly. So I don't
mm,
really have a look I prefer on the men. I just like
mm,
a clean, well groomed look. It shouldn't
mm,
look untidy. And once
mm,
it doesn't look untidy, or even smell untidy, I'm fine with it. Once it's clean and not torn, once I know you can see when someone is making an effort. And once I see you making an effort, I'm not going to judge.
mm. It seems we lost Mr. Morgan there. Oh my. But in terms of prep as well, I, as a librarian, because my primary job as a librarian, I often encourage persons to do research. How important is research into the field that you're trying to get into to entrepreneurship on a whole?
It's essential because basically you can have all the great discipline, all the money management, and you don't know what you're going to do, you're losing
Mm,
money. So you need to get the education. And what I like about this technology type of era,
mm,
TikTok, I learned how to do a cheesecake on TikTok. You have YouTube. Um, you have, if you want education institution, you have UE. You have courses you can do for 650, where they think they run for like 10 weeks. You have Yeep. So knowledge is essential, and in Antigua, I think the exposure is there. We just need to start teaching our kids instead of using the phone and tablet to post to TikTok or to post to
mm,
Facebook. Do some YouTube research. Do some TikTok. Ask TikTok, how do I sew a dress if you like to make clothes? How do I draw this? So I think knowledge is what's going to push your business because you can have
mm,
everything. If you don't have the knowledge or you don't have the wisdom, you're going to mess it up because wisdom is what keeps things going. Wisdom is what's going to pull you up when you fail. Lack of knowledge is just going to make you go further and further down and learn harder and harder lessons.
mm. Welcome back, Mr. Morgan.
yes, technical difficulties from my end here, but we're here.
I understand. We were just discussing how important doing research into your intended field is for entrepreneurship and seeking career. How did you find doing research into your particular field helpful? If you did
Well,
research or if you didn't do research, how do you think it would have changed your approach?
okay, well, research is essential, especially when you're an entrepreneur. I mean, think about it. It's going to be your business and to be the one that's going to push your business and propel it. So in your business, our store would have the latest when it comes to style, fashion, and the know-how to get stuff done. So if you're an entrepreneur or
Oh my, it seems we lost Mr. Morgan again. The internet is not our friend today at all. Oh, did we get him back?
yes, all right,
Sorry
I'm
about
back.
that. Could you repeat?
Yeah, so I'm saying research is what's going to give you that competitive edge to make sure that you can make leaps and bounds into whatever you're doing, because persons are going to want to always do business with the most informed and the most up to date. For example,
Mm,
we can look at suits
mm,
nowadays. There's so many different style, fashion. So had I not done my research and make sure I'm up to date to having, the slim fits, the latest in fabric, then no young person is want to come into the business and then purchase something like a three-button suit, which is something like 10 years ago. So definitely, I would encourage everyone to make
mm.
research their best friend.
Okay. I also wanted to ask, how important is written and oral communication in entrepreneurship and in your field as well, Miss Canis?
Communication on a whole, whether written or oral, is essential. In a business like mine, the dynamics change very quickly, and we run 24/7, so you have to try and get the information to the staff as urgently as you got it. So besides knowing that too, what the company needs and the shifts in the company dynamics, communication, written and oral, is essential. Because how you put together your information either empowers or discourages people. How you speak to persons, whether with a tone of respect or you're being condescending, is either motivation or a turn off to your staff. And this helps to help you to achieve the goals set for you either as an entrepreneur nor or the company goals. So oral and email or any form of communication. I really don't like WhatsApp. I'm not going to lie. I think it's the easiest way to get anything miscommunicated. But oral and email writing, I think, is essential because this is how you link with your clients. As I said, my clients are my staff, and as Mr. Morgan said, his client would be the males in Antigua. So whoever your client is, how you speak, how you communicate to them is essential to get your goals achieved.
Mr. Morgan, and you like to
Okay, so my industry is basically customer service. So you're going to have persons coming through the door, and the way you speak to them will determine if they actually go in their pockets or their purse to take their monies out and to patronize your business. So we have to make sure that we first listen to the customer. So on an oral basis, you have to be able to speak a language that the customer that you're dealing with then can understand. So you have to then meet persons at their level. No sense you speaking and the customer in front of you does not understand, has no idea as to what you're speaking about. So in a case like that, you would not be able to close the sale on that occasion. So I think communication, whether it's written, I mean, we do a lot of social media. So in the written form, it's more our response time is what the customers would really judge you by, because I mean, you have an emergency, you send a WhatsApp or you send a message on Facebook, and you know 5 hours later or a day after, that's not going to help the customer with the emergency at hand. So communication, written or oral, again, another essential tool that you would need to have in your arsenal in this line of business.
Hmm. So tell me, dialect, is that a pro or a con? Or is
Pro.
it neutral? Because in speaking to some persons, they tell you never ever speak dialect to your patron. However, well, that's what I am also told here. However, if my speaking of dialect is going to make that person more comfortable, I am going to break with the rules. I'm going to talk how I need to talk so that they can understand me.
Yeah.
So is that what do you think of the use of dialect within the workplace, as a professional?
Sense of humor was one of my points for career prep, and I think our dialect adds a little sense of humor to the hard days. Sometimes it helps to get a very difficult message across. I wouldn't
Mm,
say in a meeting setting, because I do meet with a lot of persons from overseas, you would utilize it too often. But if you're trying to get
mm,
your staff calm, the situation is tense, you're trying to get calm, maybe you might want to refer to it as like a joke, lighten the situation. So I see dialect as
mm,
a pro thus far. I think the
mm,
situation with dialect might be a con is if you write the entire email and it's all dialect and then the person doesn't understand one thing you're talking about, then it would be a con in that situation. But to lighten a lot of meetings, tense meetings, um, to make
mm,
a habit work when you give a little joke a little easier, the dialect fits and I love it.
Well, for me
Morgan?
at AG Morgan, it's more of the customer that is in front of you at the given time. So
Mm,
you have locals, they come in to shop, let's say they go into a fed and their energy level is high and they're speaking their dialect. I mean, if you're gonna come and speak the Queen language to those customers, they'll be like, okay, I mean, understand is anti-gay. So it depends on the customer at that point. For example, now you may
mm,
have some customers, they're tourists, they're staying at the hotel or they came from the cruise ship and they come in, if they want to learn a little of the local language, then yes. But to speak dialect right and out when they're coming in, hello, good morning, how are you? Then you want to meet them at the level that they're at so that the communication can flow. Because if you start off dialect, they'll be looking at you straight because, yes, they know they're not in their home where the language may be English, but if you're going to start out with dialect from the onstart, then they'll have no idea as to what you're saying. So it always depends on the client customer that you're dealing with at that given moment.
mm. Okay. If you had only one thing that you could say to your younger self as you were getting ready for your particular career, for entrepreneurship, one thing that you would go back and tell yourself you need to do, what would it be? Let's start with you, Miss Tanis.
I would tell myself that's not the career for you. Is what I wanted, I'm doing it. Um, but above everything else, I would encourage my younger self, and I think a lot of people say this, and I'm trying to encourage my daughter, save. I honestly
Mm,
think I'm in my 40s, and had I saved a bit more, I think you'd have more options. And it's always
mm,
good to have more options. I have options, but having more is never a problem. So if I had to go back to my younger self, I would say, relax, continue doing your schooling. That's not the career for you, just
mm,
flow. But in the meantime, no matter what you're doing, put aside something.
mm,
Put aside, no, not put aside something, put aside more. That's what I probably
mm.
would say to myself.
Mr.
All right.
Morgan.
So for me, I'm 29, and what I would have told myself earlier is that, being a faith-based person and knowing and understanding that, God would have already set out what he has in store for you. I mean, many a times we go ahead above ourselves and say, hey, look, this is what we want to do. For example, when I was in high school, I wanted to become a doctor. Then I realized, it's going to be 11 years of study. And at that point, I know, in fact, my parents would have not been able to afford it. As far as scholarships would have gone, that was unlikely to come. So then I said, you know what? The next thing I loved was electronics. So I then studied electronics installation technology. That's what I'm qualified in. But all along the line, I was always a very well dressed person. I mean, I would normally help persons putting outfits and stuff together. So I would say, get connected with your maker and find that passion and purpose that he would have ordained for you. And once you come in line with that, then nothing is impossible. You will move any barriers in your way and you'll be able to do well and succeed in your purpose and in your calling.
Okay. All right. I agree. I mean, it is important to do the thing that is your thing and not try to do other people's thing just because you think it's going to be more profitable. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, you can't do it like them and it's going to be far more difficult for you. I completely understand what you're saying. But I also understand that Mr. Morgan has brought with him some examples of some very appropriate for work outfits that we're going to get to see, Mr. Morgan.
That's right. We have uh, three young men who are wearing some AG Morgan. So we're going to ask them one by one to come forward and do a little modeling for us. So we'll start with our contestant number one, if we may say. All right. So this is
Hello,
something
contestant number one.
you may not be able to see his full outfit, but he's wearing like a charcoal window pane dress pants, and he's wearing that with a plum shirt. You can see it's a striped tie. Uh, so this would be good. You could use this for an interview. You could use this for work. You could use this for a wedding. All right. So just a little tip there. So we have
But
contestant number two.
before the next contestant comes, I have to ask, what are window pane pants?
Okay, so window pane is the pants with the lines. Okay, so if you can see my jacket here close
Oh,
up, it
Oh,
has
stripe.
right. Well, the pink stripe is the lines that goes down and does not go
Okay.
across. And then window
Okay.
pane, you have lines down and across. All right.
Oh,
Ah,
we
okay.
learned we learned
We're learning something new. Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
So contestant number two. All right. Again, another great. He's doing now a solid slim fit charcoal pants, black belt shoes. He's using a teal shirt and a pattern tie to go along with that. So this is something, of course, again, interview is fine, wedding is fine, going to weekend worship fine. It's something you can mix and match. So we also have a third person who's going to come out. Now, this person is more modern. He's using, lighter tones. Um, he's actually going with a blush pink shirt, floral tie, and his pants is like a royal blue, solid slim fit. Now, his own, it's kind of depending on the job that you'll be going to. You walk into some establishment looking like this, and they may think you're a little bit overdressed, right? So this would be great for weekend service. You're going to a wedding and that kind of stuff. What I've also done today is I'm going to show persons how they can now transform just your regular ordinary outfit into
Mm.
something a bit more grand. So they're just going to go right back. They're going to come back out and you're going to see the transformation using the same outfit. All right. So we can have
Okay.
just a few seconds and
Mhm.
come back to me.
Miss Tanis, how are you liking these outfits? I'm partial to blue myself, as you can tell by my background and my my outfit. But
Everyone
I'm
thinks
thinking,
the kings are looking good. I love the polka dot tie with the teal.
mm,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that. Yeah,
I
that's
also
my
I
favorite.
like it's I think it's also important to have the right fit because I mean you don't want your shirt too tight on you, but if it's
Right.
too loose also it adds to the kind of disheveled look. But everybody was nice and smartly dressed there.
Yeah, and a good thing for men, and I, as a woman, I have is a good tailor or a good seamstress. So if you
Mm,
don't get it perfect, you have somebody can work on it for you. So that might
mm.
be handy too for these kind of situations.
Welcome back, Mr. Morgan.
Yes, we're back. All right. So we coming back with number one, right? And same
Oh,
shirt,
Woohoo.
wow,
same
I love
pants,
the jacket
but just a nice
and the
floral
boots.
blazer and a bow tie on top of that. Just
Could you come
transforming
a little closer so we can see the print on the blazer? Oh yeah. Oh,
right
that's nice.
very floral.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be ideal. You can use this as a groom. You're getting married. You could use it to attend a wedding. For some people, it's a bit much for church, but for me, I'll be fine going to church like that. So
Mm,
just a way that, because I know right now things are kind of hard and persons, you don't want to be spending all your income on clothing
mm,
as much as
mm,
we're in the business of clothing and we
mm,
like to get sales. But at the same
mm,
time, we understand that, you have to work with your customers based on what we're experiencing in
mm,
this particular season. So we're going to go for number two.
mhm.
All right. Again, another nice look just by putting on a blazer. You can come closer. Right.
Mm,
So all he
mm.
did for his look was to put on this blue blazer. It's a blue slim fit 2 button blazer. And that this could go to a business meeting, could go to a wedding, could go to a church function.
A
Just
nice
trans
dinner.
yeah, very nice dinner. Have a nice date night and you want to step it up a notch. This is a
Mm,
good look. Now, you can also further accessorize something like this. You can put in your
mm,
pocket piece, you can
Oh
put on
yeah,
your Apple pins, you know, just simple little stuff that you can do to transform your regular shirt and pants with a tie outfit into something that says wow. Thank you. We also have one final look. All right.
wow.
Yeah, we saved the best. All right.
aha.
So this is what it means doing your research. I can guarantee you that AG Morgan is the only store in St. John's you can go to and find something like this. You're researching online, yes, you will see something like this, but I don't think the other merchants are as brave as I am to bring something like this. So this is again a floral blazer, comes with matching bow tie, and all he did was just add that on to his blush pink shirt, has the same royal blue pants on. Something like this would be ideal definitely for a groom. So for those guys out there who's looking to get married by now in December, we have stuff like
Yes.
this.
Don't let the bride outdo you.
Well, you see, what has been the customary thing is that, and I've got the complaints from the ladies,
Mm,
ladies put themselves together well, going to a nice dinner, going to a nice wedding, you know, something that requires a formal to a semi-formal look. And then most times, the guys would want to come in a short sleeve shirt and just the pants. But at AG Morgan, we definitely, guide them to the right direction so that the lady who they're going out with will feel happy knowing that, she can confidently walk with him beside, knowing that looking there. All right. Thank you. That's a little bit of what you can do, and we can do much more at AG Morgan.
Are those ties clip-ons, the bow ties?
No. Well, yes, those are the pre-tie ones, so they have the clip. I know you spoke there about the one that is called a freestyle. So the freestyle one, you actually have to tie it from scratch. Comes with just a loose material, and then you have to put it on your neck and knot it in. Maybe the next time we have something like this, I'll show you guys how to have that tied.
All right. We look forward to it, because having the clothing and not knowing how to put it together, not knowing how to tie that tie can, really throw off your outfit.
That, I mean, I can briefly share a few tips for guys. I mean, yes, you come and get the nice stuff, but it is important that you put it together well, wear it well, and there are some key things that guys out there would need to know. So, as a man, your fit is key. Too tight is wrong, too loose is wrong. For suits, you don't just want to grab it off the shelf and wear it. You get your pants hemmed. You hem your pants based on the kind of shoes that you're wearing. So if you're doing like a loafer, then you'll do a hem that does not have any breaks. If you're doing a dress lace-up shoes, then 1 or 2 breaks based on your comfort level. For shoes, you want to make sure if you purchase a tan, brown, burgundy, black, blue, then your belt is matching your shoes. If you have a shoes that has more than one color, let's say you have a 2-tone shoes, then you match your belt with the most dominant color from that. When it comes to suits, just like I have here, you should always be able to see that inch to half inch of your shirt, not your jacket covering your shirt and makes it seem like you're wearing a short sleeve. Right? So fit is definitely key. And then after you would have mastered your fit, then you want to learn how to work your colors and your patterns. That's the area that most persons have great challenges with, the colors and patterns. So for example, if you have a polka dot shirt, then you can either go with a solid tie, or you can go what is called a paisley pattern tie. And for those who may not know paisley, it's that design that you would normally find on a bandana, that kind of swirly look. So that would be great on anything with stripes, anything with plaids or polka dots. But when you go with your colors, always think of your shirt as like a canvas. So if you're a painter and you have your empty blank canvas, that's your shirt. And then now you want to paint on your shirt. So you would want colors that will stand out from your background. So for example, today, my shirt is a very light shirt, and I'm using a tie that's pink and blue. I would always stand your shirt. You can either ties with your shirt, your suit, or your pants. Whichever one you feel comfortable with. Those are the 3 ways.
Okay. What do you match your pocket square with?
Okay, that's excellent. Now you can either match or you can contrast your pocket square, right? So for example, there's a matching pocket square for this, but because today is a business day and pocket squares are more for formal settings. Pocket squares are not for your shirt pockets, because I see from time to time, you will see guys, they purchase a shirt, purchase the tie comes with a pocket square, and then not knowing, they believe the pocket square is to put into the shirt pocket. No, that's wrong. The pocket square goes into your outer coat pocket, whether it's a blazer or a suit, right? So you can either match it with your tie, you can match it with your shirt, or you can contrast it to your entire outfit. It all depends on your personality. Like for some persons, they're not going to put on anything unless it's matching, and that's fine. But some persons are more adventurous, like to play with their colors, so they will do a contrast.
Okay. We have a question here coming in from Tam Mannix, who would like to ask, what is the best way to de-escalate a situation with a disgruntled client or customer? And
Yes,
that's for
well,
both of you.
in my experience, first thing you have to detach your energy. Nothing said should be taken personal. If you take it personal, then the whole conversation is going to go away. Once you do that, then you allow them to vent. You're in a position. I'm thinking that you need them in that moment, then they might need you, or the client is right kind of situation. So I would allow
Right.
them to vent, say everything that they have to say. And if I don't have a solution, then I would have the approach of, what do you think we can do about this? Because sometimes you try to correct it and make it worse. If there's no solution, then you want to have a meeting of the minds. If there's a solution, then you say, you apologize if you think you're in error, and say, going forward, this is what we're going to do. Are you fine with that? And the tone must not be condescending. The tone cannot be rude or sarcastic. You try and keep a level tone. Anything that comes with sarcastic or any sort of rude implication, to me, says you're taking what the person says personally and not recognizing it's a compliment, but not a compliment, a feedback about the business. It's not a feedback about you. Maybe an error you made as an entrepreneur or error you made as a manager, and something is there to learn. So you don't accept it as personal. You take it in the professional capacity and deal with it and learn from it.
Okay,
Mr. Morgan.
great. So, yes, you do allow the customer to vent. That's why I said early on, it's very important when you have a customer to allow them to speak and listen to what they're saying. Now, in a disgruntled situation, you may want to get to understand what is the customer's expectation out of the situation that you're in. And then you will assess and weigh it along with the policies of your establishment, whether it's a store or business, and see how you can find that middle ground to ensure that the customer is going to leave happy even though coming in disgruntled. So you want to see what is it that they're looking to get out of the situation. For example, if the customer just had an issue where it was a wrong size and they need a size difference, then that's something that you can easily do an exchange. If they got a wrong item, you can make sure they get the right item. But if you don't listen and understand what the customer is looking for, then you back and forth with a customer, it's only going to escalate the situation and make it worse. So you want to let the customer vent, let them go right down until they give you that opportunity to intervene and see how you can best help. I mean, mind you, not in all cases you're able to solve the situation. So that's where you meet a customer at middle ground and say, hey, look, this is not the policy of the establishment or the store, but we value your business and we would want to be able to assist you so that you can feel as if you were treated fair in this situation.
Oh, I'd like to add, I would not add, if I was an entrepreneur, there's something I've seen that find very distasteful. Um, Something is going wrong with a client and a business owner, and then they'll put it on Facebook. Now, you may be right in terms of the person took advantage of you. But what you do is actually kill your business with that approach, because although you're right, a lot of people are thinking, not me. I'm not going to
Right.
deal with this guy because this is how he deals with business. So I would encourage also avoid posting these things on social media, even
Mhm.
if you're right, because then you're now in telling clients or future clients or potential clients don't come.
Right.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, you're
I can I
absolutely
can I
right.
can see how
Because,
that
you know,
works.
imagine you been already frustrated, and then next thing you know, the same thing that you were frustrated about, a friend of yours called in to say, hey, look, this is what the business person went and did. They put your business, which was between you and the customer, then in the open for everyone. So that's definitely a no-no.
Yes,
Yeah.
business suicide.
Yeah, yeah. I can see, especially in this day and age where people are very quick to put everything on social media. I can see how that would curtail your business's growth very, very quickly.
Yeah.
On behalf of the National Public Library, I'd like to thank both of you for coming out today. It has been wonderful chatting with you. It's been almost an hour already. Can you believe it? And then
Yes.
y'all tell me y'all don't like to talk.
Ah,
Thank you very much for coming out. I'm sure that our viewers had a wonderful time and enjoyed it as much as I did. So we are looking forward to seeing you guys out and about, but not too close, social distancing.
Okay.
I hope, Mr. Morgan, to some of us will see you soon because Christmas is coming and gifts need to be bought.
that's right.
And so ideas need to be sought. Thank you again, Ms. Tanis, for being here. And we hope that you will continue to be a part of the public library family.
I will.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
This has
you.
been educational. Thank you too.
Okay, no problem. And join
All
us
right.
next week when we're going to be talking to Mr. Cecil David about engineering. So if you have any questions that you'd like to put to us nice and early so that we can make sure that we get them in, you can send them to the Facebook page here at the National Public Library's Facebook page, or you could shoot us an email also in the link, or you can leave a message. Once again, this is Miss Alicia Thomas, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.